On this edition of the CageSide Couch, I'm going to break down and predict the upcoming heavyweight matchup between Junior Santos and Frank Mir. You're on the Couch CageSide with your host Kyle Delaney from CouchFighter.co. Coming up at UFC 146, all the drama and everything has been settled. Alistair Overeem's out of the main event, and Frank Mir fills in and will be fighting Junior Santos for the heavyweight championship in the UFC. Now, this should be a good main event. Not one that we were expecting from Alistair Overeem and Junior Santos, but Frank Mir deserved this title shot. He will fill in, and he will be facing JDS. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm just going to break down both fighters, and I'm going to do my predictions. So I'm going to start with Frank Mir. Frank Mir has held the heavyweight. He's been a heavyweight champion in the UFC before, and he's worked his way up to get back to this title shot. He's worked very hard. And the skill set for Frank Mir really is black belt in Kempo Karate. He does box. He's wrestled in high school, and he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. One of the better grapplers in the heavyweight division in the UFC and all of mixed martial arts. Now, in regards to Frank Mir's stand-up, I think it's good stand-up, but I think the ability of Junior Dos Santos, Junior Dos Santos' pure striking ability will overshadow Frank Mir's striking in this fight, simply just because JDS is such a good striker, and Frank Mir is a good striker, but his striking will not shine in this fight. It will be serviceable at best. Now, in regards to Frank Mir's striking, he is a dynamic striker. He does have more weapons in his arsenal when it comes to striking that he does use leg kicks with his karate background. He can box. He can work the body. The thing that he does lack in his stand-up game is speed. He does not have hand speed. He does not have ideal footwork or impressive footwork, to say the least. But he is an accurate stand-up striker. Now, I think the best part of it is that Frank Mir does have good power. We're talking about the heavyweight division. He does have 3 knockouts on his resume. If he does clip you, you will be wobbled. But I think the best way Frank Mir will implement his stand-up in this fight is if he can work Junior Santos towards the cage and try and corner him and set up his very good ground game. And that's the thing about Frank Mir is that if he could get a hold of Junior Santos, he is good in the clinch. He can dirty box, can sweep the leg, he can slam you, he can do all these things. It's just a matter if you get a hold of Junior Santos. I think the biggest part is the biggest factor will be the way he moves in the octagon. But his ground game is some of the best in the heavyweight division. If he gets you down to the ground, his ideal size, he's 260 pounds, and he has great technique on the ground as well as that. His advancing a guard, if he gets on top of you, he can ground and pound. And he has some of the best submissions around. He has 9 submissions on his resume. He's really a submission expert. And he solidified this, one of his biggest wins of his career against Minotaur Nogueira. Minotaur Nogueira took him down the ground after wobbling him, tried to get the guillotine. Frank Mir got a hold of his arm, won by Kimura snapping his arm out of place against a guy that's never been submitted before. That's the thing about Frank Mir. If it gets down the ground, it's his world. That's how good he is on the ground. That's how skilled a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner he is. And he can fight well off his back, and he can also fight very well in the dominant position. He can lock you into submission anywhere. And for a guy his size, with his technique and his size, he's a very skilled guy on the ground. So that's what I have in regards to Frank Mir. Some pros and cons. Pros for Frank Mir is his size. He's the bigger guy in this fight. He has a 20-pound weight advantage. He also has a 2-inch reach advantage. He has a 79 to JDS's 77. Also in regards to this, he has experience. He's been here before. He's fought before. He's fought some of the most elite talent. And also his grappling, huge advantage. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling combination, it's a big advantage. Cons for Frank Mir, I think his chin is very questionable. He has 5 knockouts. He's been knocked out 5 times. And, you know, it's the heavyweight division, but a guy who's been knocked out 5 times, it puts up a warning flag anywhere, a red flag anywhere, is that he does get wobbled. He got wobbled against Nogueira. He's been wobbled before. So it will be questionable facing one of the guys in the heavyweight division with some of the most elite knockout power. Also, his speed is a disadvantage in this fight. He's not faster than Junior Dos Santos. And also, he's not the better pure striker in this fight. So that's what I have in regards to Frank Mir. Junior Dos Santos is one of the best pure strikers in the heavyweight division. His boxing is so refined. It has a lot to do with the attributes that he brings to the table, is that he is not the biggest heavyweight fighter. He's 240 pounds, fights at 235 sometimes, and he's so athletic. He's so fast. The thing about Junior Dos Santos' striking is that he's such a refined boxer, but what applies to all of it is his footwork, it's his hand speed, and it's his knockout power that all complement each other so well. Is that his footwork, he controls the octagon very well, he moves around the octagon very well, his range and his spacing, the gaps that he chooses to strike at, and his ability to pop forward in the pocket, then he uses his quick hands, and then when he connects with his knockout power, you're going to go down to the deck. He does have 10 knockouts on his resume. It's all due to how all 3 of these work out so well. He's such a smart fighter on his feet. He really does pick his spots very well. and he has incredible hand speed. The guy puts combination together. And the thing about Junior Dos Santos is that he doesn't want to get into technical striking matches with you. He's looking to knock your block off. He's trying to knock it. He's a headhunter. That's exactly what he is. He commits forward with bad intentions, and he's only looking to commit forward once and knock you out. That's all he looks for. And we've seen him get into technical matches, technical boxing matches, and striking matches. We've seen it before. But Junior Dos Santos is solely there to knock you out, and he will definitely test Frank Mir's chin in this fight. So that's what I really regards to his stand-up game. Junior Dos Santos, his ground game, he's not a wrestler, he doesn't do judo, he's simply a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I think the biggest factor in his ground game is his incredible takedown defense, is that Junior Dos Santos, we've never seen his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game because he is so squirmy, he's so fast, he's impossible to get a hold of because of the way he moves in the octagon, how smart he is in controlling the octagon, that we never see anybody get a hold of him trying to take him down. We've seen Roy Nelson try, we've seen Shane Carwin try, we would have liked to see Cain Velasquez try, but we've never seen him on his back, and we've never seen this guard that he says is so at least good and serviceable. We've never seen it. We've never seen Junior Dos Santos. He's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He does have 2 submissions on his resume. One was due to strikes to Mirko Krokop, and the rest, one was a submission, a guillotine choke that he had long before he was in the UFC. So we don't know where Junior Dos Santos' ground game is, but we hear that it is good. So when it gets down to the ground, though, he will be put out of his comfort zone. Junior Dos Santos, though, will try and keep this standing with his good takedown defense. But if Frank Mir is to get on top of him and get him on the ground, he will be at a severe disadvantage. So that's what I have in regards to Junior Santos. Some pros and cons. Pros for Junior Santos, he's definitely the faster fighter. He does have a reach disadvantage, but I think his speed will make up for that. He also has incredible knockout power. And lastly, he's the best pure striker. He's the better pure striker in this fight. Cons for Junior Santos. Junior Dos Santos doesn't have the experience that Frank Mir has. This is the first time he's defending his belt. Another con is his size. He does have a reach disadvantage. He is 20 pounds lighter than Frank Mir. And really, that's what I have in regards to Junior Dos Santos. Now, where I see each fighter being successful, I see Frank Mir being successful. He gets this fight to the ground. He uses his movement well and tries to corner Junior Dos Santos against the cage and get this fight down to the ground and try and win by submission or ground and pound. Where I see Junior Dos Santos being successful is keeping this fight standing, picking your spot, being smart, knowing that Frank Mir does have power, but using your technique, using your smart stand-up ability, and trying to knock out Frank Mir or win via TKO. So where my prediction lies in this fight is that I think Frank Mir is a good fighter. I just think this is a bad matchup for either guy. Is that I think if it goes to the ground today, it's a bad matchup for Junior Dos Santos, and if say standing, it's a bad matchup for Frank Mir. But where I see this one panning out, I see Junior Dos Santos being so quick, so elusive, and controlling the movement in this fight from bell to bell, however long this one lasts. I see Frank Mir trying to corner Junior Dos Santos and trying to shoot for the takedown, but Frank Mir is not as explosive, is not as quick, and Junior Dos Santos will be ready for these takedowns. I see Junior keeping his movement, being very smart in this fight. I see him picking spots, finding his range, and popping forward and landing a big shot. I do not see him knocking out Frank Mir in this fight, though. I see, even though his chin's questionable, I see him being formidable in this, at least formidable. I see him landing a shot, though, and I see Junior Dos Santos winning this fight via TKO and defeating Frank Mir and keeping his heavyweight championship. So I'm going to take Junior Dos Santos defeating Frank Mir via TKO at UFC 146. And that's what I have for this edition of the CageSide Couch. This is Kyle Delaney signing off. I'm out of here.